Hello friends, welcome you all. Today we are going to learn about the exercise number 10 which comes under the course of ENTO 354 for the semester of 5th new, and the course title is Pest of Crops and Store Grain and their Management. The exercise number 10 includes the different pest of cottons. It means that the study of pest of cotton and their management. As you know that the cotton is the one of the most important fiber as well as cash crop in Maharashtra as well as in India. So we should know about the different pest which will be cause a yield in the cotton area or especially in the cotton crop. So let us start. Which are the different pests of cotton that infest the cotton area and reduce the yield? Here we should know about the different cotton insect pests or non-insect pests in the cotton. The first group of the cotton or the pest of cotton is that the sucking pest complex. The name itself indicates that it is a sucking pest complex. It means that these all the insect pests having a piercing and sucking type of mouth parts, and the metamorphosis of these all pests have a incomplete metamorphosis. It means that the life stages are egg, nymphs and adult, and the nymphs and adult both are damaging stages of this pest. It includes aphids, thrips, mealybugs, jussids, whitefly, and the mites. And mites is the non-insect pest which is not comes under the class Insecta, hence known as a non-insect pest. So let us start the sucking pest complex of cotton. The first pest is cotton jussid, is also called as cotton leaf hopper. It is a we can say that it is one of the major sucking pest of the cottons. And here in this picture, this is the adult of the jussids or the leaf hopper. The peculiar identification marks on this adult is that there is a two black spot on the four wings of the adult jussids, and this is the nymph. What is the difference between the nymphs and adult? The nymphs having a yellowish in color and they do not have a wings. The species of the cotton jussid is Amarasca bigutula. Here both nymphs and adult are the damaging stages of this phase. So let us start how this cotton jussid is actually damaged in cotton area. I have already told you the mouthparts of the jussid is the piercing and sucking types. The jussids are congregated on the lower surface of the leaves mostly and suck the cells up from the tender plant parts mostly from the leaves. During feeding or while feeding, the jussids inject their toxic saliva into the host tissue, and it gives a one characteristic symptoms. That symptom is called as hopper burn symptom. This is the hopper burn symptom. What is hopper burn symptom? At an initial condition, due to the continuous cells of sucking, the curling of the leaves is occurs and the leaves become yellowish in color and later it brown in color, and the whole plant it become a brownish in color. It look like a burn, hence known as a hopper burn symptom. This is the cotton jussid feeding in the cotton area. Then next is thrips. It is also the sucking pest, but there is one difference between the other sucking pest and the thrips is that in that thrips there is a right mandible is absent. Hence the mouthparts of the thrips is the rasping and sucking type instead of the piercing and sucking type. These are the nymphs of cotton jussid, cotton thrips, and this is the adult thrips. Both nymphs and adult are the damaging stages because it is a sucking pest, and the species which infest the cotton area, that is the thrips tabacchi. So how this thrips is actually damaged? It is a very minute insect. It is congregated on the lower surface of the leaves and start their feeding. Due to their rasping and sucking type of mouth parts, the both nymphs and adults scraping the epidermal layers of the leaves and sucking the oozing cell sap as a result of feeding. In case of severe infestation, the infested leaves become white or chlorotic or silvery shine patches on the lower surface of the leaves, and this is the one of the characteristic symptoms of the thrips. Then next one is cotton white fly. Here there are the four life stages. This is the eggs, then nymph, then a pseudopupa and the adult. The nymphs and adult both are damaging stages. Here the nymphs is nothing but the one of the crawler in appearance, or it is a crawler. Then how this nymphs and adult feed actually in a cotton area. The color of the white fly is totally white in color. These nymphs and both nymphs and adult, it is totally congregated on the lower surface of the leaves. Due to their white or cottony secretion, the total leaves it become whitish in color, and both nymphs and adults suck the cells up from the lower surface of the leaves, and as a result of feeding, the leaves become yellowish in color, or the plant lose their turgidity or vitality. Then beside feeding, here or instead feeding, or we can say that during feeding, the white fly excrete a honeydew-like substance which develop a black sutimal fungus on the plant parts, and due to the development of the black sutimal fungus, the infested plant parts or the infested leaves become blackish in appearance, and it directly affect on the photosynthetic rate. The photosynthesis synthetic rate of the particular infested plant is reduced, and indirectly yield is reduced. Beside feeding, this Bemisia tabaci, it is the species, it acts as a vector for cotton leaf curl virus in the cotton. The next sucking pest, aphids. There is a major species Apis gossypi which infests the all cotton area in Maharashtra as well as in India. Here the aphid it is reproduced by means of parthenogenetically. It means that instead of the egg laying, the female aphids it gives birth to the young ones directly. Here this is the nymph of the aphids. Here there is a tube-like structure which is arises from the we can say that the fifth and sixth segment of the abdomen. That structure is called as the spinculi, or here this spinculi it is one of the nothing but it acts as a defensive structure. It produce, or we can say that the coronicles, it produce a one of the chemicals from that tubes. It is one of the releases from the exocrine glands, and these chemicals it gives a offensive smell, and it will helps to repel their predators from them. The aphid it may be winged and allied form. Winged and apterous form. This is a allied form or having a wings aphids, and this is a apterous form wings aphids. Then now how this aphids is attack or infest the cotton crop. Here we can see the number of aphids. It is congregated all the plant parts of the cottons. Okay. Both nymphs and adults suck the cells up from the lower surface of the leaves or all the tender plant parts. As a result of feeding, the plant lose their turgidity or vitality, and due to the continuous feeding, the flower defoliation and the bolt defoliation is also occurs, and curling of the leaves is occurs in a downward condition. Then beside feeding, this nymphs and adults also excrete a honeydew-like substance which develop a black sutimal fungus on the plant parts, and the infested plants it become blackish in appearance. It directly affect on the photosynthetic rate, and the yield is indirectly reduced. This is the aphids. The next and last sucking pest is the mealybugs. Here the egg laying takes place by the female mealybugs in a ovisac. Then crawlers is emerge out from the eggs. The crawlers is nothing but the nymphs of the mealybug. But what is the difference between the other nymphs and the crawlers? The crawlers having a no legs, or they do not have a no legs. Then here this is the female mealybug and this is the male mealybug. The male mealybug having a wings, and the female mealybugs do not have a wings. So here the crawlers or the nymphs and the female mealybug is the damaging stages of the mealybugs. This mealybug it is very congregated on the all the plant parts of the cottons and suck the cells up from the different succulent plant parts, and as a result of feeding, the plant lose their turgidity and vitality, and will become yellowish in colors, and in case of severe infestation, the total plant become wither and dry up. And during feeding, they also excrete a honeydew-like substance or sugary material. They develop a black sutimal fungus on the plant parts, and the black sutimal fungus it directly affect on the photosynthetic rate of that particular plant. This is all about the sucking pest complex of the cotton. The next category, that is the bolome complex of cotton. Majorly there are the four bolomes: the American bolomes, pink bolomes, spotted and spiny bolomes. Let us start one by one. The first, it is the American bolome. The species is Helicoverpa armigera. The egg laying takes place by the female singly on the under the flowers or under the bolls. After the hatching from the eggs, the larva is emerged out, and here the caterpillar is the damaging stage, and the caterpillar goes into the pupation. Pupation occurs in soil. Now, how this caterpillar or the larva feeding actually in the field condition in the cottons. Here we can see the caterpillar is feed on each and every plant parts of the cotton. Here at an initial condition, feed on the leaves and leaves become skeletonized. Then it feed on the tender shoots, the shoots become wither and dry up. Then after it feed inner content or on the flowers part, the flowers drop down on the grounds. Then after the bowl formation, it attack on the bowls by making a small circular holes on the bowls. There is one peculiar feeding habits of this caterpillar is that the anterior half portion of their body is remain inside the bowls, and the posterior portion it is hanging out outside the bowl. This is the characteristic symptoms. When this caterpillar is directly enter feeding in inner content of the bowls, in the inner content of the bowl there is a lint is there, lint or kapas, and there is a seeds is there. Due to their continuous feeding, it affect on the lint quality, and due to the feeding, the lint produced from that infested bowls, it is a very in a poor in quality. Then it also attack on the seals, and the seals lose their viability, or the lose their oil content is also, and the seals as well as the lint gets less market value in the market. Then next is spotted and spiny bolome. This is the spotted bolome, and this one is the spiny bolome. What is the difference between the adult of this spotted and spiny bolome? The forewings having a one greenish band on each forewings, and the hind wings are totally transparent in color. And in case of spiny bolome, the forewings are totally greenish in color. This is the major difference in adult. And why is called as spotted and spiny bolome? The larvae of this spotted bolome the body of the larvae having a number of black dot spots, hence known as a spotted bolome. And why is called as spiny bolome? Because there are the number of spines or thorn-like structures which is present on the body of the larva of the Aedes insulana, hence known as a spiny bolome. Unlike the American bolome, the spotted and spiny bolome do not attack on the leaves; they directly attack on the shoots or tender shoots. Due to their continuous feeding, the shoots become wither and dry. Then after it attack on the flowers and flower buds, and in case of severe infestation, the flowers or the flower buds defoliate on the ground. Then after the bowl formation, it attack on the bowls, and it feeding inner content of the bowls by making a small circular or exit hole on the surface of the bowls. It feeding inner content, it means that it feeding on a lint and the seeds which is present inside the bowls. When this larva is feeding on the lints it get a poor in quality, and the seeds lose their oil percentage and lose their viability. The next and the new invasion of the species of the bollworm in nowadays in cotton area, that is the Pectinophora gossypiae, is the pink bollworm. It nowadays it attack on the BT cotton varieties also. This is the life cycle. Female lay their eggs on the different plant parts. Then the initial stage larva, first and second stage larva, it is a whitish in color, and when this larva it is enter into the flowers or into the bowls, it become a pinkish in color, hence known as a pink bollworm. Then now, unlike the spotted and the American bollworm, these larvae do not attack on the leaves and the shoots. This larvae it directly attack on the flowers, and it feeding on the different flower parts, and as a result of feeding, in case of severe infestation, the flowers it is dropped down on the grounds, and due to their continuous feeding, it gives a one characteristic symptoms in the flowers of the cotton. The flowers it look like a rosette in appearance or rosette flowering. Then this pink color larva it is totally enter into the inside the bolls by making a small circular holes, and when these larvae entering into the bolls, these larvae plug their holes which is prepared by them on the surface of the bolls by their own excreta, and feeding inner content of the bolls. It feeding on lint, this is the lint, also feeding on these squares or bracts. Then there is a seeds present inside the lints, also feeding inside them, and due to the continuous feeding inside that bolls, the bolls are prematurely open and the bolls are totally damaged, and it gives a less market value and it directly affect on the yield. Then next category is cotton stainer. There are two types of the stainer. The first one is the red cotton bug and second one is a dusky cotton bug. Both are the sucking pest of the cotton, but it is a cotton stainer. This Discus singulatus, it is the red cotton bug. After the male-female mating, the female adult lay their eggs in soil near the plants in a group. After the hatching from the eggs, the nymphs are emerged out, and the nymphs and the adults both are damaging stages. The both are continuously feeding inside the bolls or on the bolls. Due to their continuous feeding, they suck the cells up from the bolls or also from 10 other tender plant parts, and due to their continuous feeding, the bolls are prematurely opens, and it also feeding inner content of the bolls, and the lint produced from that infested bolls, it become a poor in quality. During feeding, this red cotton bug also introduce the one bacterium species into the bolls, that is the Nematospora gossypi, and it is responsible for the cotton staining. Hence, this bug is also called as cotton stainer. The next is dusky cotton bugs, Oxycaranus halipenis. This is also the sucking pest, but there is one characteristics of this pest. The both nymphs and adult, it is suck the sap from the bolls, but that bolls is already opened by the bollworms or due to the already feeding by the bollworms or other pests, and this bolls is feeding inner content of the bolls, and it it directly affect on the yield. Then this is the mirrored bug, and this is the new bugs emerges, or we can say that this is a new pest in cotton nowadays. Attack. This is also the sucking pest. Here, both nymphs and adult are the damaging stages. This both nymphs and adult, it continuously suck the cells up from the tender bolls or tender flower buds. Due to their continuous feeding, the infested bolls is the produce a yellow color fluids or yellow we can say sticky yellow color fluids from that infested bolls, and in case of severe infestation, it gives a one characteristic symptom, that is the parrot beak appearance. The bolls is become a beak with the beak which is present in parrots, and due to their continuous feeding, the defoliation of the flower buds is occurs. Then next is foliage feeder of the cotton. There are the two major foliage feeders, tobacco leaf caterpillar and the cotton leaf roller and the grey weevil also. The first one is a tobacco leaf caterpillar, that is the Spodoptera litura. The female moth lay their eggs in the group on the leaves. Then at an initial condition, after the hatching from the egg, the early installed larva of the Spodoptera feeding on the leaves of the cotton, they just scraping the epidermal layers of the leaves, and the latter is or after the subsequent development of the larva it is scattered all over the field, and it is voraciously feeder on the leaves, and in case of severe infestation, the complete defoliation or the leaves becomes skeletonized, and in case of cotton, this larva is also attack on the flowers and on the bolls also. Then cotton leaf roller. The name itself indicates that the larvae or the caterpillar, because it is a lepidopteran pest, the larvae or the caterpillar roll the cotton leaves and feeding in a consile conditions, and they just scraping the epidermal layers of the leaves, and completely defoliation of the leaves is occurs, and pupation is also occurs inside the leaf fold. This is the leaf fold, typical leaf fold present in the cotton. This is all about the different pests which infest the cotton area. Then the main important points of this exercise is that integrated pest management in cotton. It means that how we can manage the different insect pest population in cotton by integrated way means which are we can use the different methods or techniques of the IPM, that is cultural, mechanical, chemical, biological, or any other methods we can use. So let us start which are the different methods we can use in IPM. Before while going towards the management practices of the different insect pest population of the cottons, we should know about the economic threshold level of each and every pest of the cottons. This slide shows the economic threshold level of each and every pest of the cottons. After the pest reaching the level of ETLs, then and then we can go for the management practices in cotton. The first is cultural practices. Cultural practices is nothing but it is a preventive measures, and it includes the regular farm operations like a deep plowing, field sanitation, and the adjustment of the sowing and use of resistant varieties. These are the different resistant varieties. It is already developed by the plant breeders in cottons against the particular pest. Then we can collect the different affected plant parts like a shaded squares or bolts, because in that shaded squares or the bolts having a number of life stages of the insect is there, and due to this practice the different life stages it will be killed. Then crop rotation techniques with non-host crops. These are some of the crops we can use in a crop rotation techniques against the particular pest. Then removal and destruction of alternate weed hosts. Here these are the different weed which act as a alternate host for some of the pests like helicoverpa, whitefly, and the mealybugs. We can remove these weeds which is present in around our fields. Due to these techniques we can manage or reduce the infestation of the particular pest in cotton. Then next one is a border crop. Pigeon pea, bajra, and maize we can use as a border crop to reduce the infestation of the mealybugs. Then judicious application of the recommended dose of the fertilizer. It means that we can avoid, or we should avoid the excess use of the nitrogenous fertilizer in the cottons or in any other crops. Why? Because if you use or if you excess use the nitrogen fertilizer, it will be helps to chance to increase the sucking pest complex in the cottons. Then cowpea and soybean, it is used as an intercrop in cotton against the leaf hoppers or justles. Then trap cropping. Here these are some of the crops you can use as a trap crops against the particular pest in the cotton crop. For example, marigold, it is used as a trap crop against the Helicoverpa armigera, it means American bollworm, and the lucerne used as a trap crop against the mirid bug. Then set up yellow sticky trap. This yellow sticky trap or blue sticky trap. The yellow sticky trap is mostly installed to attract the sucking pest complex of the cotton, and the blue sticky trap is mostly used to attract the mostly thrips species. Then pheromone traps. This pheromone trap, it is mostly used against the Lepidopteran moths or butterfly or Lepidopteran pests. Here, American bollworm, then pink bollworm, spotted and spiny bollworm, and Spodoptera lutura, it means that tobacco leaf-eating caterpillar. For that pest, we can use a pheromone traps. In that pheromone traps, you can use a different lures. For Spodoptera lutura, you can use a Spodolure. For American bollworm, you can use a Helilure. For spotted bollworm, you can use a Erie lure, and for the pink bollworm, you can use a Pectino lure or Gossip lure. Then these are some of the mechanical practices. The mechanical practices, it means that how we can damage or how we can collect and destroy the different life stages of the insect pest population of the cottons. Then here, this is the major technique, that is the clipping of the terminal shoots. Then wash equipments to avoid the infestation of the mealybugs or to spread the infestation of the mealybugs. Then uproot the severely affected cotton plants. These are some of the techniques. Then biological control. In that biological control, we can use the different predators and parasitoids to reduce the infestation of the different pest populations. Green lacewing and ladybird beetle are the two important predators against the different sucking pest complex. Then Apentalis, Tilonemus, and Trichogramma, it is used as a parasitoids against the Lepidopteran pest. Then Beauveria bassiana, it is one of the effective entomopathogenic fungus. It is used to kill the mirid bugs in cotton. Then bird perches. We can use a bird perches. With the help of these bird perches, the different birds are placed on that bird perches, and they pick out the different larval instar which is present in the cotton fields, and it will help to reduce the infestation of the different insect pest population in cotton. Then Augmentation of the natural enemies. It means that here, if you see the Chrysoperla carnea, it is a green lace wing. It is used as a predators against the different sucking pest populations, specially used for aphids. Then Trichogramma chilonis. This Trichogramma chilonis, it is the species. It is effective against the American bollworms, and the Trichogramma bacteria, it is effective against the pink bollworm. Then Cryptolaemus montrezeri. This Cryptolaemus montrezeri is used as our universal predators for the mealybug specially. Then HANPV and SLNPV. This HANPV and SLNPV, it is one of the viral biopesticide, that is the nuclear polyhedrosis virus, and it is especially used for Spodoptera litura, and this HNPV used for the Helicoverpa armigera. And here the Metarhizium ansophili, Beauveria bassiana, Nomorarelli are the effective entomopathogenic fungus against the Lepidopteran insects. Then Verticillium lacani. This Verticillium lacani, it is specially used as a biopesticide. It is nothing but the entomopathogenic fungus against only the sucking pest, all sucking pests. Then predator mites, it is used against the phytophagous mites of the cotton. This is the Incarcia, Incarcia formosa, it is the species, and this Incarcia formosa, it is the nymphal parasitoids against the cotton whitefly. This is the Anaceus bombauli, it is also used as a parasitoids against the cotton mealybugs. This is also the one of the parasitoids for flower mills. Then botanical control. These are some of the botanical insecticides we can use in cottons against the different insect pest population. In that, the 5% neem seed kernel extract and the 1% neem oil, it is mostly used in all crop against the different insect pest populations. Then these are some of the insecticides which is recommended by the CIB and RC, Central Insecticide Board and Registration Committee, and this is the recommended insecticide in cotton which is available in market with a different trade name. Especially this is the all the sucking pest, systemic insecticides. These are all the systemic insecticide and specially used for only sucking pest. Then here is also the different chemicals or insecticide available in market. Here this is the pesticides available in market, especially against the all the Lepidopteran insects. Okay, this is all about the study of insect pest population of the cottons and the their management. This is our exercise number 10 and 11. Okay, thank you.